Canned frog balls. Trim the ends and outer leaves of the Brussels sprouts. Blanch in boiling water for 3 minutes. You're going to want to drain and then add to ice water. Let sit for about 15 minutes. 5 cups of white vinegar, 5 cups of water, 7 tablespoons of pickling salt. Bring it to a boil and simmer for 10 minutes. To the jar, add a half a teaspoon of dill, 3 garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of Caribbean jerk, then fill with sprouts. Brine to about a ½ inch of head space. Go ahead and wipe off the rim with white vinegar, add the lid, and add the ring. About fingertip tight on that. Go ahead and shake it up real nice and add it to the hot water bath. Then you're going to want to grab your ball grabber. You're going to want to cook quarts for 25 minutes and pints for 15 minutes. And this is how... Flat one. What are those shelves? They're cannon caddies. Where can I get them? Albertvilledesign.com. Canned sausage. First thing you're going to want to do is take the sausage out of the wrapper. We use 3-pound links. Go ahead and par cook this meat down to about 40% red and then drain off the grease. Pack the jars within about 1 inch of head space. Boil the lids. Wipe off the rim with white vinegar. Add the lids and add the rings. Down to about fingertip tight. Go ahead and fill up your canner. Wait for that steam to be rolling for about 10 minutes before adding a 10-pound weight. Once it comes up to pressure, you're going to want to cook for about 90 minutes. Tighten up the rings, and after about 12 hours, take off the rings. And this is how we can refried beans. First thing you're going to want to do is soak the pinto beans for 24 hours. Go ahead and fill up the jars about 3/4 of the way full. Add 1/3 cup of onions and 1 garlic clove to each jar. And then for the sauce, you're going to need 12 cups of water, 1½ tablespoons of chili powder, 4 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 1 tablespoon of cumin, and heat on medium-low until it's hot. Go ahead and fill up those jars within 1 inch of head space. Boil the lids, wipe off the rims with white vinegar, add lids, and tighten up the rings fingertip tight. Go ahead and fill up your jar, and when that steam's rolling for about 10 minutes, go ahead and add a 10-pound weight for 90 minutes. Grab your ball grabber. When ready to eat, empty the jars, smash, and heat. And this is how we can ground beef. The first thing you're going to want to do is brown up your beef. I like to go about 60% brown and 40% red. That way it just kind of gets the grease off. Add a little bit of salt and pepper. That way it gives it a nice little taste. Warm up your jars so they don't break in the process, and you're going to want to boil the lids. Now I know what not everybody does, but I like to. Go ahead and fill up those jars to about 1 inch of head space. Use some vinegar to wipe off the rim. And then you're going to want to add your lids, still waiting on that magic wand to come. Gonna Add the ring about fingertip tight. Add in the jars to the canner. Wait for that steady stream to be coming about 10 minutes worth. Add ooh, that steam is hot. Add a 10-pound weight. We're gonna let this cook for pints for 75 minutes and for quarts for 90 minutes. Go ahead and tighten up those jars nice and tight. And this is how we can sparrow's guts. Cut ends of the asparagus, cuts fit the jar, squeeze them in tight. For the brine, add 5 cups of white vinegar, 5 cups of water, and 7 tablespoons of canning salt. Heat until a boil. Add to the jar 1 teaspoon of Caribbean jerk, half a teaspoon of dill, and 1 garlic clove. Add brine to a ½ inch of head space. Wipe rim, add the lid, and add a ring. Fingertip tight on these. Load the hot water bath, bring to a boil, and then set the timer for 15 minutes. Grab your ball grabber. Allow the jars to sit 24 hours before removing the rings. And this is how we turkey soup from a frozen turkey. Add your frozen turkey, add water halfway up your turkey. Add carrots and onions and celery. We even added a tablespoon of seasoning to the mix. Fire up the canner, get the steam going for about 10 minutes before adding your 15-pound weight. You're going to want to cook this turkey for 5 minutes for every pound of turkey. Take the meat off the bones, take the grease off from the turkey stock, boil the lids, cut up the vegetables, and then we can start packing the jar. Add a teaspoon of seasoning, add turkey stock within an inch of head space, wipe off the rim with white vinegar, add the lids, add the rings. You're going to want to go fingertip tight. Heyo! Grab your bowl grabber. Take the quarts out of the jar. You're going to want to cook those at a 10-pound weight for about 90 minutes. And this is how we can bacon. First thing you're going to want to do is pull out the parchment paper, fill it up with a pound of bacon. You're going to add in the second layer of parchment paper, fold in the ends and fold it in half, and roll it up and shove it in the jar. Boil up those lids and wipe down the rim with white vinegar. Add a lid. And add a ring. Fingertip tight on these. Fill up your canner. Once the lid is on, you're going to want to have that steam rolling for about 10 minutes before adding a 10-pound weight. Set the timer for 90 minutes. Grab your ball grabber. Go ahead and tighten up those lids. And this is how we can pineapple. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut off the top and the bottom. Go ahead and start working on the sides. Pay very close attention to those eyes. They can be easy to miss. Next, you're going to want to cut away the core from the fruit. You can discard the core at this point. Cut them into inch cubes and pack within a ½ inch of head space. Water as well. Boil the lids. Wipe off the rims with vinegar. Add the lids. Add the rings. We like to warm up our jars before adding them to the hot water bath. Grab your ball grabber. You're going to want to cook pints for 15 minutes and quarts for 20 minutes. This is how we can Irish potatoes. The first thing you're going to want to do is wash down the spuds. Peel them as well. Cube them up. That way it makes the boiling time a bit quicker. 10 minutes boil on these. Bang. You're going to want to warm up the jars. That way they don't break in the process. Boil the lids and grab your ball grabber. That way you don't burn your fingers on that warm jar. Fill within about an inch of head space with the potatoes. Teaspoon of salt. Inch of head space with water. Get rid of those pesky bubbles. Wipe down with the white vinegar. Don't grab the lids. Tighten fingertip tight. Fill up that canner and then let the steam roll for about 10 minutes before adding your 10-pound weight. Can quarts for 40 minutes, can pints for 30 minutes. Tighten the lids up nice and tight. This is how we... What are those shelves? They're Cannon Caddies. Where can I get them? Albertvilledesign.com. What are those shelves? They're Cannon Caddies. Where can I get them? Albertvilledesign.com.